Hey guys, good morning. Hello friends. Welcome back to Faith Before Food. My name is Melanie. Welcome back to my channel. Today is not going to be a traditional daily vlog. This is strictly an update just to let you know what my doctor is doing, what I'm doing. Currently I'm resting. That's what I'm doing. I'm just taking it easy. I'm not doing anything strenuous because as you can probably tell, if you see my eyes, see the big circles under my eyes, I'm exhausted, guys. We're not sure what's going on, but they are working to get to the bottom of it. There's just been a progression of things that have happened that make me believe that there's something health-wise is going on, right? Recently, some of my symptoms have amplified. All right, so the first noticeable one that kind of triggered some concern with both my husband and myself was my forgetfulness is getting worse. And it goes beyond setting my phone down and forgetting where it is. It's the loss of words. You guys know I spent 12 years as a public speaker. You guys that have been watching me on YouTube, you know that I'm very articulate, I'm well-spoken. And for me to lose words and vocabulary and to get lost in common everyday words, and it's no longer big words. Sometimes you're talking about a very complicated subject. I'll be telling somebody about solar. I'll be telling somebody about conductivity. I'll be telling somebody about what the purpose of an inverter is, converting DC power to AC power, and I'll be describing components and I'll lose a word. That's one thing because it's not vocabulary I use every day. But I'm losing basic words. My husband's kind of filling in the blanks, if you will. And we've noticed that this has progressively gotten worse over the last 6 months or so. I noticed it about a year ago, but it was so random and so, there was no pattern, no rhyme or reason, nothing that was triggering these events that we could put our thumb on. It was just so random. It's almost like I was spacing out. The word that I've used or the description that I've used to describe these moments is that my brain just stopped. My brain has misfired. All right, because I don't want this video to be 500 hours long, let's start with the most long-term symptom, meaning something that I originally went to the doctors to have diagnosed 15 years ago, was that the first 15 to 20 steps, now this is 15 years ago, the first 15 to 20 steps that I would take where my thigh bone comes into my hip socket, that's where the pain feels like it's radiating from. The first couple of steps that I take, and when I say couple, dozen, 2 dozen, I literally am walking like a 100-year-old lady. The pain is so intense every time my foot hits that floor. My joints and legs feel like they're locked, like my knees feel like they're locked. The bottoms of my feet hurt, the tops of my feet hurt, like not gout pain, I've had gout. And I literally walk like this. I mean, I am trying. I look like a robot when I'm walking. Well, over the past 15 to 20 years, that has progressed to if I sit for more than 20 minutes, that pain is there. Like the same pain that I feel every morning getting out of bed is now there. If I sit for more than 15, 20 minutes, I'm in pain again. And I'm finding myself doing this, like gaining momentum to stand up. I'm having a difficult time. And if I stand up too fast, of course, I'm feeling super dizzy. But I have always suffered from low blood pressure. So I also suffer from bradycardia. There's several things that could be heart related as far as if I stand up too fast. It could be age. It could just be me getting old, right? But the pain in my hips, my feet, my wrists, I have a constant pain on this bone right here on each hand now. Like the pain where it used to only be every once in a while you'd see me doing this and stretching my hand, and now it's a constant. It's my hands, not my whole hand, just all of this in here feels so tight and feels so sore. There's days where simply picking up a coffee mug, just this motion, I almost dropped the mug. The pain is so intense, shooting pain into my arm, into my elbow. I have no power in my hands anymore. Like I have a jar opener here mounted underneath my thing so that I can just put the jar up and do this. I'm struggling with the strength of my hands, with the strength of my wrists, right? So the joint pain, the stiffness, the soreness, the sensitivity. So I have points on my leg that if you touch, it's painful. It almost feels like I've got a bruised bone. That's the only way I can describe it to you. So mostly in my legs, my arms are fine, whatever. I do have those, it feels like when I'm touching right here, it feels like this bone is bruised. I also noticed that this bone is sticking out a lot more than it used to. It's a lot more prevalent. I'm getting some swelling in my hands. My toes are starting, okay, but the toes is a whole thing. But okay, so my toes, you're starting to see the deformity. My pinky toe, of course, almost turns all the way underneath my foot. It's almost like I'm walking on my pinky toe when I walk. My mom had the same thing though. So my dad had the one type of arthritis where it's muscular in nature. I want to say it starts with an S. My mom had rheumatoid arthritis. 20 years ago, 18 years ago, I was diagnosed with autoimmune, and my RH numbers was just above 20, just above 20. And so at that time, the rheumatoid doctor said, you don't need to be here yet. You don't need to be here. You don't have any deformity. I guess they looked at my pictures. They said, you don't have any deterioration. They didn't put me on any medication, nothing. And while I've been on keto for 6 years, the last 6 years, I'm noticing the pain, the amount of moments where like I'm having muscle pain, leg pain, joint pain are increasing to where it's a normal everyday part of life. Again, if I sit for more than 20 minutes, I'm rocking like this to gain momentum, to stand up. Just I don't have the strength in my core, my body, my legs. And then when I stand up, I've got to psych myself out. If I've been sitting for more than 15, 20 minutes, I literally have to psych myself up to take those first few steps. But this has been a symptom that I've had for the last 15 to 20 years. It's just progressively getting worse. It's happening more frequently, daily now. And it is affected by if I stand in one place, a lot of times you'll see me squirming around on camera. You can see now I'm leaning, I'm holding on to the countertop, and it's because I'm trying to stay off this hip right now is hurting me. So I've literally got this foot up in the air, not in the air, but on my, balancing on my toe, kind of to take the weight off this leg. So I've noticed that those symptoms are getting worse. The second symptom that I've had for a long time, however, it seemed to resolve itself. If that makes sense, it didn't seem to be as bad, and now it's come back with a vengeance, is shortness of breath. Now, I need to give this disclaimer. I was a smoker for 30 years. And when I quit smoking, I was up to 2 packs a day. So it is very well that this lung capacity and breath may have nothing to do with my cardiovascular. It may have nothing to do with the other symptoms going on, the RH, the muscle stiffness. It may be a separate thing due to the fact that I was a smoker for 35 years. And even though I've quit over 10 years ago, I still did massive damage to my body. I truly believe that. I've also worked in industries where I was exposed to high amounts of carbon monoxide, chemicals, petroleum products. I mean, like I've always had really hard manual hands-on jobs, right? So is it possible that there could be something, a heavy metal poisoning? Could there be something else causing me to feel like I'm out of breath, like I don't have enough wind to complete a sentence? Please keep in mind, I speed up my videos but keep my tone the same because I know I'm taking a lot of breaths. I know I'm speaking very slowly. So I always speed up my videos on this editing program. So what became really noticeable is when my husband and I took a vacation in the beginning of July to celebrate our anniversary. I could not keep up with him. Normally him and I, we keep about the same stride. We walk about the same speed. And I was struggling. He kept looking back and saying, what are you doing? And I'm like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And at one point he realized I was in medical danger because he said my face was bright red. We had to sit down at a bus stop. So the way that where we went, there was a trolley that every 15 minutes a trolley came around to take you beachside to all of the different casinos, hotels, restaurants, shopping. And so we ended up, I think we waited through 2 buses. So it took me 30 minutes to not only did it feel like I was not getting enough air, but even when I was going, like I didn't have the lung capacity. This is something that's intermittent. It comes and goes. I have no warning. Like right now, I'm not really having a problem talking to you, but it's something that hits all of a sudden. And then I'm struggling. The other symptoms that I am having more recently, okay, so the muscle ache, the fatigue, just being tired all the time because I feel like normal everyday tasks for me are becoming impossible. Like the energy to complete everyday tasks. And you guys have watched my journey transform, and you know that I'm in a different place mentally than I was 2 years ago. but I've noticed that I have to take breaks every 15, 20 minutes. I've noticed that if I do vigorous work for more than a day, or I mean more than an hour, that I pay for it for the next 48 to 72 hours. Like I am almost completely disabled. Like my muscles ache and hurt, my back aches and hurt, my hands feel like they're crippled. Like, I mean, like it takes a toll on my body. But last but not least, it's been the migraine headaches. Sudden onset, no warning. And I've already explained what these migraines may be something completely different than everything else that's going on, but they could also be in conjunction with, meaning they could be a result of, whatever's going on. So chronic fatigue, extreme muscle aches and pains, stiffness, heaviness in my legs, difficulty catching my breath, feeling like I'm not getting enough oxygen, extreme sensitivities to heat and cold. My Raynaud's disease is becoming more pronounced, where it used to only be in these 4 fingers. Now it's in my feet and my fingers. Not my right hand though. How weird is that? My left hand only. I never have had not one Raynaud's in my right hand, just my left hand and both my feet. So the Raynaud's is getting worse. And so I have a lot of tests ordered. There are a lot of tests here he's ordered. First of all, they're going to do a full autoimmune panel with REFL, teeter, and pattern. And what this test is going to do is it's going to rule out lupus. Because of my RH, so there are people, there are people that can have autoimmune with an RA of 20 or less and never develop symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. There are other things that can cause a positive RA value. But because I was working, I was active, I was just excusing away, oh, I'm just getting old, oh, my parents had arthritis. Like, I was excusing away all the symptoms that I was having. They kind of looked at my blood work numbers and went, well, I think you're okay right now, but this is something we'll revisit later, and now is later, right? All right, so what that'll do is it'll eliminate lupus, because a lot of the symptoms that I'm having could be connected to a lupus flare-up. But just keep in mind that there are hundreds of autoimmune disorders, and there's no specific test. What you have to do is you're looking at a combination of factors. You have to have the ANA present. You have to have the, there's teeter, there's all of these definitions, but basically in a nutshell, these are ways for them to narrow down what autoimmune that you have. But they know that I've tested positive for autoimmune. They know that my RA factor was a little high, but that doesn't mean that I have active rheumatoid arthritis. That just means that I have the potential to get it, but it could also be a result of something else creating that higher elevated RA factor. All right, they are doing a comprehensive metabolic panel. From what I understand, there's a lot in that, but basically they're going to be testing my glucose, my calcium, sodium, potassium, carbon dioxide, and there's several proteins that they're going to be looking for in my blood. I know that there's more involved in that, but that's just the basics of the metabolic panel. They are testing for ferritin, which is iron stores. It's a specific protein in your blood. It can indicate, I guess, kidney health. It has something to do with kidney health, your body's ability, possible heavy metal poisoning. There's like all kinds of stuff that can be associated with that. They are doing a hemoglobin A1C. I think the last time I was tested, I was 5.7. So I think we're good there because I haven't left keto. I've been keto the whole time. Now I haven't been strict keto, but I've been keto, right? My total iron, my rheumatoid factor, my SED rate by modified, which is an inflammatory one. They are doing a T4 free, which is thyroid, but they're also going to do a Doppler. Now remember, I'm a pacemaker patient. They cannot do an MRI. My particular pacemaker is not MRI friendly, but it is CAT scan friendly. So they are going to do a full CAT scan of my head to make sure that I don't have an aneurysm, a slow bleed in the brain, what is causing those sudden onset migraines with extreme pain, vision loss, nausea, and now with me losing words. My husband told me he didn't want to scare me at the time, but on that second episode where he had to take me off the toilet and carry me to bed, he told me my speech was very slurred and all my words ran together. Like I was mumbling. I felt like I was talking to him, but he's like, you mumbled. And like, I couldn't really understand what you were saying to me, but it could have been the excruciating pain that I was in. I don't know, but they just want to rule out that I don't have something going on in my brain. They are also testing for vitamin B12. And I did all of this fasting, but they're going to be, I don't remember if I told you, they're going to be doing a full CT scan, and they're going to be doing a Doppler of my thyroid. I pointed to the wrong gland. The reason I pointed to this one though is because this is painful right now. This is your saliva glands. This could indicate that I have some type of viral or bacterial infection, or it could just be because I wear a night guard and I clench my teeth at night. My jaw could be sore, and it could be just masking itself as pain right here. But so they're going to be testing for all of that, and hopefully at the end of all of this test work, my CT scan and thyroid Doppler is scheduled for Tuesday. So I will be going Tuesday to have that done. Meanwhile, I'm staying keto. Staying keto. As a matter of fact, my breakfast is back here, but it's not going to be that kind of vlog. I have some peppered bacon, and I also have a small piece of steak left over from last night's dinner. Couldn't eat the whole thing. I'm sticking to keto. I'm increasing my fluids. Let me show you the. This is the organic beetroot powder that I'm doing right now, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. You can see the reason I chose the powder instead of the pill is there's no cellulose in here at all. It's just organic beetroot powder. Now this is 90 scoops. The scoops are ultra tiny. I'm not opening this. I open this over the sink because it gets red beet powder everywhere, and you guys know beet powder stains, so you'd be very careful when opening this. But anyway, I know that there's going to be some of you that lean towards carnivore you're going to be like, oh, you don't need that. You can just eat another steak. You can eat a cow eyeball. You can eat fish guts and get the same. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Okay, here's what I can tell you, and I don't know if this is psychosomatic or if it's actually working this way. So there is something in beetroot that helps to expand the capillaries. It helps open up the veins. I can tell you that anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour after I take this, the breathing does feel easier. It does feel like, so that tells me that it could be a cardiovascular issue, right? If this is opening up my veins, opening up, I could have a blockage. They may need to do another, this is what I'm talking about. You guys know I would have never had problems with this. Where they shoot the dye and they check for blockages in all your major arteries, whatever that is. Anyway, see, this is killing me, like it's leaving. And I know I've had this procedure twice. I know what it is, but my brain is just misfiring. All right. So, but if it is a problem in the brain, this is also what this is basically going to do, because I asked my doctor specifically for the most organic approach, meaning less pharmaceutical. The less pharmaceutical I can do, the better. He recommended this for its known cardiovascular function, help with blood flow, since that's what I am suffering from. Lack of breath, lack of oxygenated blood, right? Brain fog, extreme fatigue, muscle aches and pains, inflammatory things going on in my body. So if I can take this, which is 4 carbohydrates per scoop, if I can take this 1 scoop every day and some electrolytes and feel better, even if it's just for a couple of hours, and it helps my body get oxygenated blood, I'm in, Flynn. That's what I'm saying. The other thing is aspirin. I'm now taking a full, he said, I'm not even going to start you on baby aspirin because of my history of atrial fib and my history of other issues. And I got to say, knock on wood, praise Jesus first, then knock on wood. Praise Jesus is that since my last sudden onset migraine, I have not had another one. So hopefully, I had 3 of them within a 3-week span, 2 of them within a 3-day span. Not sure what's going on there, but yeah, I'm taking an aspirin just because at this point, with my slower heart rate, with my feeling fatigue, not feeling like I'm getting enough oxygen, this is very well that I could have a blockage somewhere. So the aspirin is not going to stop me from having a stroke or a heart attack. The beetroot's not going to stop me from having a stroke or a heart attack. However, it will improve my chances of getting blood flow to the brain, which improves my chances of living and improves the chances of lessened consequences? No. Damage. It's going to minimize the damage from heart attack or stroke if I survive. So, guys, right now, I promise you, I am being as disciplined as I can be, but I am being so gentle with myself. I'm spending a lot of time in prayer. I have had a few moments of anxiety eating, snacking, but again, my mental health, my physical health comes first, and I try to take care of those things. I have not left keto. I'm just not in an emotional state or a mental place where I'm going to keep tracking. My focus right now is keeping calm and staying in prayer, meaning that every time I start feeling worried about, well, what if I have multiple myeloma like my mom did? What if the RH is, well, am I going to go on medication, or am I going to be dogmatic keto and say I don't need medication for anything? I can just eat another piece of meat and fix everything in my body because I must be doing it wrong if I have health problems at 55. Anyway, so there's so much going on. There's so much going on that right now I'm like, okay, we are just going to take care of Melanie. We are going to take care of the basics. We're going to first take care of prayer and faith. Second, take care of hygiene. Not right now. Of course, I just crawled out of bed. I'm taking care of my hygiene, brushing my teeth, showering, and then everything else beyond prayer, gratitude, Bible study, and self-care. Everything else is like, okay, if I get it done, I get it done. If I don't get it done, I don't get it done. And the world will still start tomorrow, unless God comes back tonight, which that's possible. All right, guys, I know I joke about it a lot, but I personally do faithfully believe that the rapture is coming. I believe it's coming. I'm not here to debate. I'm not getting into a theological discussion. And if you are an atheist and you have all your little bullet points laid out, I will be praying for you, but I'm not here to debate you. I'm not here to proclaim that I'm a minister or preacher. I am just sharing the blessings and the gifts, the things that God has helped me see in my life since I've started seeking Him, right? I'm not here to try to change your mind. But as someone who is a follower of Jesus Christ and who has accepted Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior and believes He's coming back, I also have to tell you, I believe that time is soon. Soon. So many prophecies that have been fulfilled in a book that was written 2,000 years ago, like birthing pains. These times are coming quicker and quicker, and in the twinkling of an eye, the church will be raptured. I would love to see you in the clouds. I would love to see you there. So if you haven't had a chance to sit down and really think about what the rapture means, what it entails, and your soul's eternity, I'm asking that you consider it today. So if some major catastrophic event happens and a third of the world disappears population, find a Bible and please start with Revelations and move to Daniel. I pray for everyone watching this that you've had an opportunity to give your life to Jesus Christ. I have. But it's also important for me to tell you that because I am dealing with some serious health concerns right now. And if my life should end as I know it today, if I do have a stroke, if I do become incapacitated and can never have any words leave my mouth again, I just want to leave you with Jesus Christ is my personal Lord and Savior. I've repented. He's forgiven me for every sin. And I am 100% confident that my eternity will be with Jesus Christ in heaven. So I hope to see you there. And I pray a blessing over every single person watching this, that God could just tug on your heart a little harder if you haven't. He could soften. He could remove the veil from your eyes so that you could see. And He'd whisper in your ear so that you could hear Him. That's what I pray over anyone watching this channel today. But I want you to know that no matter what happens with my health, Jesus is with me. I'm good. And I have an amazing husband, so. Still praying over my doctors for diagnosis, praying over this whole process, and praying to remove any anxiety and fear from myself, as God did not create us with a spirit of fear. That is all from the devil, and the devil is not welcome here at all. So anyway, guys, I know that's a long update. I just wanted to share where I'm at in my life. I wanted to explain my temporary absence, and I promise if I start feeling better or as we get the results of these tests, good, bad, or indifferent, I will be sharing things with you. However, please respect the fact that if the diagnosis isn't good, I will be sharing with my family first, so it could be months before I share with you. So we're going to take it one step at a time, and we're going to keep God with us at all times, and we are going to remain in faith. God bless you all, and good night.